Let's unpack all of this with Marie Rodet, who is a professor of West African history at the University of London's School of Oriental and African Studies, and she joins us now from the British capital. Marie, start by explaining to us, how do you see digitisation as a tool to save endangered cultural heritage?
Digitization is very significant in making this kind of very rare documentation and heritage available to the world public, basically. So it's a very important stage in preserving this disappearing sometimes heritage. But it's not enough. It's just a step in conservation and preservation. If you don't preserve at the same time the original manuscript, the digitization is just one aspect of preservation. You cannot just digitize and not taking care of the paper as such. And this is where the means are mostly lacking in this country, like Mali, but elsewhere as well, is the investment in resources, in also not only equipment, but in people and in training people to be able to preserve these manuscripts and any kind of documentation and archives on the long term.
Just how significant are these manuscripts of Timbuktu to the West African heritage and to the world in general?
They are extremely valuable because they are some of the most ancient manuscripts available for most of Africa, and as we know, they range from a Quranic and religious text to math and all kind of science text from the country for most of them. So, what has been preserved so far is just the tip of the iceberg, because most of what has been preserved by Google basically is just one private collection and of Timbuktu, and there are many more. And that's why, as I said, it's just the first step. And the project by the South African had started also to preserve other collections, and I think we need global thinking of how to preserve such an extent of documentation. So Google's project, again, is an important step and valuable step, but it's important to preserve the documentation as such, as paper and as overall material collection. Otherwise, it's being just digital and capitalistic imperialism if original documents are not preserved and there is not a global thinking on how to preserve them materially.
Do you think that this, though, this digitization process is going to encourage more understanding, and we'll see this rolled out across other material that also needs to be preserved?
I hope so, but most of the focus has been on the Timbuktu manuscript, which is great, but tends to forget then about all other heritage held in Mali and elsewhere, and material documentation, which sometimes are much more recent, like the work I've done in Western Mali, where you have caval documentation from the 19th and 20th century, which are far more endangered because they are held in public deposits, which are not very cared after because they lack, again, personal and equipment to conserve them appropriately. 10 years ago, I digitized more than 100 years of documentation, which in Western Mali, which was nowhere to be found except there. And there was riot 2 years ago, and they were just burned to the ground. That's why digitization is so important. We were unable to digitize them at the time, but we need both digitization and preservation of the physical collection.
Indeed, indeed. Marie Rodet, we'll have to leave it there. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for your time here on the NewsHour.